We got another good one this week, crunching the numbers. What we're going to do is take you through the preseason. That's what we got in the NFL. Give you some tips on the spread, who to bet on, and what to look forward to in the upcoming NFL season. So let's kick it off with one of Thursday's game. We picked one game from Thursday, two games from Friday, and a couple of games from Saturday, and obviously the Sunday game as well. I'll run you through the full slate of games and let you know those highlighted games that we're going to be betting on. So we're going to start Thursday night. Who we got? We got the New York Giants going up against the New England Patriots. Listen, when we're talking about backups versus backups, got to be careful when you're betting. The Patriots are 2.5-point underdogs. They're hosting the Giants. So who do you have more faith in? The backup of the Patriots or the backups of the Giants? Easy for me to say. Well, I'm still going with the New England Patriots to cover at home that 2.5 points. But here's the things to watch for, not in this game because these guys won't be playing, but as the Giants season rolls on. So Daniel Jones, this is probably his last chance. They've now brought over DeBull over from the Bills to run that team and obviously implement some of his offensive schemes. So this is Daniel Jones's last chance, maybe, to prove himself that he is going to be an NFL starter. Saquon Barkley, after a breakout rookie and year two in the NFL, has had nothing but injuries. Can he stay healthy this season? Unfortunately, I'm going to say no, and I already mentioned kind of their new coach and what that brings. The New England Patriots, rumblings out of New England, and this might shock some, is that Bill Belichick might be thinking of retiring after this season at the age of 70. Is that something that could be on the horizon? It's no secret that he and Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, haven't always seen eye to eye. However, he has given him kind of the benefit of the doubt because they were winning. A lot of that had to do with Tom Brady, however, but the Patriot way might be getting a little long in the tooth for even Mr. Kraft. So watch that. Also, year two of Mac Jones. Does he take that step forward? Bill Belichick has said he looks great in training camp, but when you keep comparing him to Tom Brady, will he ever live up to those expectations? So that's the Giants and the Patriots. Go with the Patriots to cover the 2.5 points. The other game that night is the Titans and the Ravens. The Ravens are 3.5-point favorites. All right, to the Friday's games. The first matchup that we're going to actually dive into is the Arizona Cardinals and the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are 1.5-point favorites. Kyler Murray has had some contract issues, but now he's committed to the team. DeAndre Hopkins, however, will be out. Obviously, he's going to be suspended for the first part of the season. So what you're going to see from at least the receiving core might be a little bit more of what Kyler Murray is going to have to work with come regular season week one. We're still going with the Bengals, even though we're probably not going to see Joe Burrow. We're probably not going to see Joe Mixon. The triplets of the best wide receiving core, I think, in the NFL of Chase Boyd and Higgins, probably not going to see much of them either. However, the Bengals are a deep team this season. Look for them to cover that 1.5-point spread as well at home. But watch for that team to be maybe check out Fantasy Grill because we're going to be talking about their fantasy implications of that team as well. That's later on today on the Fired Up Network. All right. Another game we're going to look at is the Cleveland Browns, and this is an interesting one. The Browns versus the Jags. Doesn't seem like a big matchup when you look at it from the outside, but it's the first time we're going to see Deshaun Watson in NFL action in over a year. We know that he is going to miss at least the first 6 games of the NFL season. However, he's going to lead his Browns on the road to cover that 1.5 points, although we probably only see him for maybe the first series, maybe the first quarter, just depending on how he feels. We're not going to see a lot of him, but also watch out for Ernest, their running back, because obviously we're probably not going to see Nick Chubb. And obviously with Kareem Hunt now asking for a trade, he's going to get some carries out of the backfield. So watch for their third string running back to get a lot of carries in that game. When it comes to Jacksonville, look, this team is not going to be very good this year. we're not going to see the one player that you probably will want to watch, which is Trevor Lawrence in that matchup. So look for the Browns. If you want a road favorite, the Cleveland Browns are the one to choose. The other games on Friday, we got the Falcons and the Lions. Falcons are 1 point underdogs. We've got the Jets and Eagles, who are even. Makes sense. Although look for the Eagles actually to have a big win in that one against the Jets, even with their backups in. 49ers and Packers. The 49ers are 2.5 point underdogs at home to the Packers. And that takes us to Saturday night. So we've got the Chiefs and the Bears. The Bears, this can't be right. The Bears are 3.5 point favorites at home, which makes absolutely no sense. The Bears starters will not beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Will not beat the Kansas City Chiefs backups. So the fact that they're favorites in this one, you can go deep on Kansas City to definitely not even to. They are going to win this game just outright. They're going to win this game. Forget the 3.5 points that they were given. Mahomes won't play. Kelsey won't play. But we'll get to see a good mix of that wide receiver core that's going to try and make up for Tyreek Hill now being in Miami. We also might get to see a little bit of Clyde Edwards-Helaire and see what he's going to look like in that offense. Are they going to run the ball a little bit more this season, knowing that they don't have that deep threat in Tyreek Hill? Is this going to be something that they use to help Patrick Mahomes get some time to throw the ball to Juju and Travis Kelsey? The Bears, on the other hand, they're putting a lot of faith in Justin Fields because they've pretty much let most of the defense go. Roquan Smith now is asking to be traded, so he's going to be out of the lineup. They've already lost Akeem Hicks. Allen Robinson on the offensive side of the ball is on the Rams, among many, many others. A new head coach, a new general manager. The Bears looks like they're in a rebuilding stage, and everybody has just kind of turned over. So let's see what Justin Fields. We're not, again, going to see him on Saturday, but again, look for the Chiefs with 3.5 points to just win outright versus the Bears. We've got the Panthers and the Commanders. Commanders are 1 point underdogs in that one, although look for them to cover. The Bills and the Colts. So let's pause on that one. The Colts are a 1 point favorite in Buffalo. Again, it's tough when you're talking about backups. However, the Buffalo Bills are my team to win the Super Bowl this year. So look for the Bills to set the tone early, even in the preseason. We're going to see what kind of running game we're going to get. Josh Allen obviously won't play. Diggs. Jameis Crowder might play a little bit, so we could see him a little since he came over from the Jets. On the Colts side, obviously they've added Matt Ryan. Jonathan Taylor, of course, had his breakout season last year. So this is a team that is going to make some noise in the AFC. We're going to see now Matt Ryan. Is he still that guy that, he's clearly not MVP Matt Ryan anymore, but this is probably by far the best team that we've seen him on in a while. So look for them to have a good game, but I'm going with the underdog, the home dog in the Bills to win that one. The last game is the Minnesota Vikings versus the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders, 3.5 point favorites at home. We're not going to see Derek Carr. We're not going to see Josh Jacobs. Obviously, they've added Devontae Adams. They already had Darren Waller, Holt Renfrew. This team is going to be very solid this season. In fact, they probably have a very good chance of dethroning the Chiefs. And most people think it's the Chargers, but watch for the Raiders maybe atop that AFC West this season. However, the Vikings are my pick to upset the Green Bay Packers in the NFC North and win that division behind okay play from Kirk Cousins, but mostly Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Thielen, and that defense. I'm looking for the Vikings to have a big year this year. And in this game, hey, with that 3.5 points, I'm taking the Vikings. They lost the most games last season by less than one score, more than any other team in the NFL. So you're giving them 3.5 points. I'm clearly going to take them in this one. Now, what we're going to do is break down as we go week by week. We're going to pick out some key games, but let me give you the rest of the games that we didn't talk about for that Saturday night. So we've got the Seahawks and the Steelers. Steelers are 3 point favorites. Go with the Steelers on this one. The Seahawks, again, this is another team where their starters probably can't beat the Steelers' backups. So the Steelers are going to have a big game in that one as well. We've got the Dolphins heading down to Tampa Bay. Miami is a 1-point favorite. Again, that's a Tampa Bay team that is a very veteran team. So you're probably going to see more of the Dolphins' second stringers, and maybe the Bucs is really going to be about who's going to make the roster. So actually go with Miami. Take Miami. That's why they're the favorites in this one. Road favorites. Miami's going to a little upset on the Bucs in a preseason game. Then you got the Saints traveling to Houston. The Saints are 1-point favorites taking on the Texans. That's a pretty safe bet as well. The Texans are not going to be a very good team this year. And that goes right through to their second and third stringers and into these preseason games. You've got the Cowboys and the Broncos. Broncos are 3-point favorites at home to the Cowboys. That's a little surprising because you're not now with the injury to Tim Patrick. Russell Wilson is not going to play. So you're probably going to have an opportunity here to take the road dog in the Dallas Cowboys. Take them in the points in that one. Lastly, I believe is the Rams. Yes, traveling to LA. They'll face, well, I guess they're not traveling. They're both playing the same stadium. But the Rams will be the road team versus the Chargers, who are 3.5-point favorites. I'm going to take the Rams in the points. Probably going to be a closer one than people think. Again, not going to see a lot of the starters in any of these games. Now, if you have questions for crunching the numbers, send it to Anthony K at sportsfluent.com. We're going to go through, like I said, we're going to look at some key matchups. We're going to take your questions as the season starts. As a preseason, this is just a little warm up for you and tell you a little bit about what we're going to do. It's all here on the Fired Up Network. So make sure to follow, like, and subscribe. Until next week, this is Crunching the Numbers, and now you're more fluent.